Good afternoon. We would like to welcome you to the 2022 Living Way of the Cross. Today, you will witness the story of Christ's passion. You will see how Jesus was betrayed and abandoned by his own friends. The crowd that had just days earlier welcomed him into Jerusalem will now demand that he be crucified. You will see the pain of his mother Mary and the compassion of Veronica and Simon of Cyrene. You will be witness to his death on the cross and rejoice in his resurrection. On behalf of the St. Patrick's School 8th grade class, we welcome you to the Living Way of the Cross. The day before he suffered, he took bread in his sacred hands, and looking up to heaven, to you, his almighty Father, he gave you thanks and praise.
He broke the bread, gave it to his disciples, and said, "Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is my body, which will be given up for you."
In a similar way, when supper was ended, he took the chalice, and once more he gave you thanks and praise, gave the chalice to his disciples, and said, "Take this, all of you, and drink from it. This is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many, for the forgiveness of sins."
While Jesus and his friends enjoyed supper, Judas, one of the 12 disciples, slipped away.
Judas met up with the Sanhedrin, or the clerics of the Jewish church. The Sanhedrin were very angry with the popularity that Jesus had gained. They wanted to arrest Jesus and charge him with blasphemy.
Judas told the Sanhedrin where Jesus could be found, and in return for this information, Judas was given 30 silver coins.
Judas told the Sanhedrin that the person who he kissed on the cheek would be the man they wanted to arrest.
Then Jesus went out to the Garden of Gethsemane, and his disciples followed him. Jesus said to them, "All of you will have your faith shaken tonight. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will disperse. For one will betray me tonight, and one will deny me 3 times before the cock crows twice.
They began to recline in the warm evening. Jesus stayed there a while, and then withdrew from them, about a stone's throw, where he fell to the ground and began to pray.
He returned to his sleeping friends and said, "Could you not stay awake with me for even an hour? Be on guard and pray that you may not be put to the test. For the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Look, my betrayer is at hand."
While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12 disciples, arrived accompanied by soldiers with swords and clubs. Judas had created a signal to let the soldiers know who Jesus was. Immediately, Judas went to Jesus and kissed him on the cheek.
How could a gesture, usually reserved for affection, be used in such a cruel way? Jesus was betrayed with a single kiss.
At daybreak, they brought Jesus to the praetorium. His disciples had scattered and fled in fear. They left him alone to face Pilate.
That only morning, Jesus stood before Pilate, unbowed, unbroken, and unafraid.
"Are you king of the Jews?" Pilate cried.
"It is you who say so," came the reply.
"We have no king but Caesar!"
The crowd cried.
"Crucify him! Crucify him!"
Before Jesus, Pilate stood, bowed, broken, and afraid. He handed him over first to be scourged, hoping this would satisfy the crowd.
Then he washed his hands in the sight of the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves." The soldiers, cold and knowing, whipped him, mocked him,
King of the Jews!
and crowned him with thorns.
After ridiculing and humiliating him, they led him away to where the cross awaited him.
Large and heavy, edges rough, weight unbearable, that cross had stood, waiting for the unfortunate, the criminal, the victim of the court.
Silently, Jesus shouldered it.
And the march began to Golgotha, the place of the skull. He struggled on painfully, quietly, and alone.
Here on Calvary's way, not yet exhausted, still alert to every pain, still quickened by the lash, tripped on the stone perhaps, or stunned by a soldier's blow, Jesus falls.
The whole universe on its feet falls into the dust of the earth, and not one friendly hand is outstretched to help. Jesus falls alone.
He struggles to his feet and stands. And then he moves along.
Perhaps he found the strength to keep going because he caught a glimpse of a woman, his mother, her eyes just ahead in the crowd.
Mary stood there, silent and powerless. She mothered her son in his last moments, unable to touch, save with saddened eyes.
And Jesus, body torn, heart broken, fixed his eyes on his mother, comforted and comforting. No word is spoken, none is needed. Jesus leads his mother.
Simon stood there, chance watcher of that strange procession on its way to Calvary. He was proud and for the country, young and insecure.
Carry the cross, they said, more empowered by whips and lances and numbers. And he did. He shouldered the cross and followed behind Jesus.
Jesus continued, step by step, terrified and tired.
A young maid, Veronica, put fear aside for a moment and stepped from the shadows, and with her woman's veil, touched his face and bathed his sorrow to the tempo of her tears.
And he bequeathed to her, to us, the image not of a healthy, handsome, perfect face, but the disfigured face of a suffering servant, his signpost pointing to God's way.
He's had enough rest. The cross is thrust upon him again, brutally, and still heavy with pain.
The shoulders ached, the head dripped blood, and knees began to buckle.
A whip is lashed. A hard word is spoken. A fist. A lance's blunted end, and Jesus falls again.
On the ground, that second time, the dust of discouragement covers the frame.
And yet, he moves on.
Old, worn women, weeping and bleeding on each other, see Jesus struggle on. They see the terror of his eyes and the nodding of his body.
And yet, he sees their pain before his own, and he speaks, "Weep not for me, but for you and your children."
Pain has passed beneath the body and seared the edges of the soul. Weariness has broken the resistance of a tough, well-trained body and overwhelmed the man.
Jesus, reaching the limit of endurance, tired beyond tired, hanging on to consciousness, falls a third time.
scarlet blood, grimed from city soil, are torn from his quivering frame as Jesus is stripped of his garments.
In a moment of utter shame, he finds himself naked and defenseless. Even the privacy of clothing is taken from him.
Hands which did such good are now nailed into the cross.
Hands which blessed and healed are now here motionless.
And your feet, which walked on so many errands of mercy, are beaten into paralysis.
And then the cross is hurled aloft, bannered in the sky, flaunted in the face of God.
Jesus is crucified. Hanging there, somewhere between heaven and earth, you speak the unspeakable.
Father, forgive, they know not what they do.
Then you face one final, terrible temptation, as your struggle is now with the Father.
The Father, whom you felt so attached to as Son. The Father, who had proclaimed to be so merciful and good. That same Father now seems to have abandoned you completely. You are on the verge of suffering the hell of God's absence as you cry out.
Now you are totally empty before the Father, nothing left to lay hold of. By human standards, you have failed. but somehow you continue to trust, and you show us where our hope and security lies as you speak your last words.
Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. It is finished.
Take your cross and
8th grade, would you come back out, please? Eighth grade, what a fantastic job. Thank you so much for your hard work. This has been phenomenal, just a great group of kids to work with. They worked really hard at this, so I'm just really super proud of them. There are some other students, though, that I'd also like to recognize. Behind me, we have 6th and 7th graders that were providing our singing. 6th and 7th graders. In the very back, these two young women have a very difficult job, actually, with our lights. Lucy and Sam, would you come out, please? And then these students, I have some more 7th grade students who have had very strict orders to, I don't want to see you, I don't want to hear you. Now, 7th grade, I want to see you. Then the choir law, providing the class. And then I also want to give special thanks to our piano player, Rebecca Kermit, and also helping me with singers, Melissa Strong. I think Primo for live streaming this, and he was here yesterday also recording this for us, so thank you very much. It's been 2 years since we've been able to do this, and so these students have been very eager and excited to do this. So we really thank you for being here. 8th grade, look at this crowd. This is fantastic, isn't it? Thank you all very much for coming. Class, we'd like to wish you all a very happy Easter. As soon as the students are done, we are going to provide an opportunity for veneration of the cross for those who would like to stay for that. 7th grade and 6th grade singers. Pardon? Oh, okay. Sorry.
One more thing, as we were all appreciating everyone else, I feel like we should take a moment to appreciate you, Ms. Suter.
Thank you all very much. You all make this a lot of fun, and I really do enjoy working with them. They've been wonderful.
We wanted to thank you because you were helping us and guiding us to the best and living way. The 8th graders want to thank you for the effort and dedication you put into this. You have worked so hard to make this the most successful thing in 8th grade. Words cannot express how much we appreciate and respect all the help you put into this to make it the best for us and everyone watching. Even though you had a few hard times, you were still able to bring everything together. We are blessed to have amazing Teacher, thank you. It was our honor doing this with you.
Eighth grade, you know that has touched me deeply. Thank you. I feel like I'm the blessed one, I'm the lucky one, because I get to work with these kids. Thank you. I told you, you made me cry. Thank you. Father Brandon, okay, I'll let Father Brandon take over. 6th and 7th grade singers, I'm going to have you go out the side doors, and then if you want to participate in veneration, you can go around and line up. 8th grade, if you would just, hi Nate, if you want to participate in veneration across, we're going to have you just line up down the center, and then you all will be able to venerate the cross.
Actually, mine is out that way. I'm out that way.